Hello, 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 and welcome, everyone, ladies, gentlemen, friends, countrymen, to a murder most unexpected. Thank you so much for joining me this evening. I, of course, well, you already know who I am. You know me from my reams of literature, all of my many murder mysteries that I've published. Of course, I am Hercules Poirot. I'm obliged to say that any resemblance to any people living or dead, real or fictional, is completely unintended and entirely coincidental. So moving on. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I, of course, am a famous detective and have many murder mysteries under my belt. And tonight we're going to see a reenactment of one of my murder mysteries. Which one exactly, we'll have to find out. But I, of course, am not going to be reenacting these alone. I could not entirely fill all the parts. So, ladies and gentlemen, please put your hands together and welcome my assistants for this evening, Cambridge Improv Factory. Yes, wonderful, excellent. Yes, as I said, we're going to witness a live reenactment of one of my murder mysteries. And of course, you're going to tell us what that murder mystery is, because I've forgotten completely which one we're supposed to be doing tonight. So just to warm up our vocal cords and get you all in the mood for shouting out a little bit, let's start with a bit of practice shouting out, shall we? So first, from all of you, you know my name, and the disclaimer. You are all going to shout out your name on 3. Nice and easy. Your name, 1, 2, 3. Excellent. Nice to meet you. Lovely. Continental name, of course. So yes, we're going to dial up the difficulty for our brains as well as our vocal cords. Let's go your favourite colour on 3. Your favourite colour. 1, 2, 3. Green. Strong green contingent over this side of the room. That's the usual. Blue is also a very strong one. Yeah. Personally, teal. Don't know why. Yes, very good. Okay, now dialing up the difficulty just a little bit more for our brains. Let's go with something a bit, your favourite thing about the 1920s. Yes, the 1920s, a wonderful era. But what was your favourite thing about it? Was it flapper dresses? Huh? Was it the Great Gatsby? Was it the fact that there wasn't a war on for just a little bit there? Maybe that was it. So your favourite thing about the 1920s, on 3. 1, 2, 3. Oh, lots of 1920s fans in tonight. Was there the one over here in this sort of part of the room? Yes. Art Deco. That's the correct answer, actually. If you didn't get that one, I'm sorry. Excellent. Yes, wonderful. Okay, well, it appears that you're all professionals in regard to giving suggestions. So we're going to find out exactly which murder mystery we're doing tonight, because it's completely escaped my mind. So, from you, can I have... I don't remember much about this murder mystery, but I do remember that it was set in a particular location that made it quite unique. Yes, this location was sort of big enough that, 6 or so people can mill around in it and have secret conversations in various parts of it. Something along the lines of like a large country manor, or perhaps, I don't know, maybe a Pan-Asian express train of a certain name that I'm legally not allowed to mention. So let's get from you a suggestion of a large location along those lines. On 3. 1, 2, 3.
Charter plane!
There was a strong one here.
Charter plane.
A charter plane. Excellent. Charter plane. Anything over this sort of this section?
Submarine.
A submarine. So it's a murder mystery, not a disaster. What about this side of the room? Anything on 3. 1, 2, 3. What was this one? Orient Express. Yes, I'm sure that would be wonderful. Very, very, very good. Anything over here?
Ocean liner.
Ocean liner. Anything over here?
Wild West Town.
Wild West Town. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. All right, ladies and gentlemen. Oh my goodness. It's just come flooding back to me. Oh God, all those years of drinking. Yes, of course. This mystery was set in a Wild West town. How could I forget? Yes, it was a wonderful mystery, this one, I remember. All of it now. There was also something, apart from one specific detail, there was Something else that made it unique, there was a unique murder weapon that made this murder particularly interesting. Can I have from you on 3 a unique murder weapon for this mystery? Okay, here we go. 1, 2, 3. Something over this side first.
A hammer.
A hat, a hammer. Anything over this side?
A poison bottle of alcohol.
Poison bottle of alcohol, a spatula, and there was one more. Horseshoe and stirrup. Had to remember that those were different things. Forgot that I wasn't. Forgot that I'm not a horse guy. Not a horse guy. Yes. Oh, it's come flooding back to me. Of course, it was a poison bottle of alcohol that was the murder weapon in this murder mystery, ladies and gentlemen. That's right. This was the murder in the Wild West town with a poison bottle of alcohol, and you will see it performed before your very eyes right now. Ladies and gentlemen, this is a murder most unexpected.
Drink.
Oh yes, that would be lovely, thank you. Oh, this is very good. Is this one of your Wild West alcohol experience?
Absolutely.
Oh, it's excellent, it's excellent. You know, when I initially came as a tourist over to your charming little Wild West town, I thought, you know, Gunther, this is exactly the kind of place that I could call home for a long time. And I have, and it's great to be here.
Well, cheers to that.
Cheers to that.
I must say, I'm not really from the Wild West myself. That's why my accent moves around.
We always say in this part of the Wild West that it doesn't matter where you came from, it only matters where you are now. Very, very inclusive here in the Wild West. You know, Eleanor, you run such a lovely bar. This is, in fact, the best and indeed only bar in this lovely town of Little Stirrup.
Why, thanks, Gunter.
That's all right. Yes, I hear there's some kind of variety show later on today. Will you be bringing any of your many talents to it?
Oh, well, I was planning on doing this cocktail making, actually. There's a little bit of...
that's very impressive.
A little bit of this.
Oh, bravo! That is amazing. It's amazing how all of the ingredients went into the drink from one side to the other in a parabolic manner. That's incredible.
It's been my special skill since I was just a small girl.
Oh.
Started off with juice and worked my way up.
Oh, that's very good. Well, I know it doesn't matter where you were a small girl. It doesn't matter.
Yeah, here and there.
I'm sure this secret and furtive past will not come back at any time.
What about you?
Oh no, I don't have any talents.
No, I meant your past, but...
Oh, well, you know, like I said, I came over as a tourist. I'm originally from a small town in Bavaria, and that's all there is to that.
Sheriff, you got nothing on me. There's nothing. You got nothing. There's no way you can arrest me based on what? Walking provocatively down the street. That ain't a crime.
Are you new to the Wild West, sir? I can arrest you for whatever I want, because I'm the sheriff of this. You see what this star here says?
Technically, you've got the right to arrest me for anything you see fit, but surely, to establish a rule of law, I gotta have violated something against the public interest.
You know what you violated?
What have I violated, Sheriff?
I don't like you, Bo.
I get this every single time from you, Sheriff. I mean, ever since we were kids, you always just looked down upon me and tried to keep me down, and I just want to make someone in my life, and how is a man supposed to get ahead in the face of this police brutality?
You know, at first I was just a hall monitor, and you were a student, and I didn't like you then. And then I was a beat cop, if they have those in the Wild West, and I didn't like you then. And now I'm the sheriff of this fine town of Little Stirrup. I don't like you now, Beauregard.
I think it's always very odd, when there's only one policeman in town that they insist on starting you at the lowest rank and self-promoting you as you decide to get sufficient experience.
I wanted to earn the title.
Yeah, you can't just have it bestowed upon you. That would be entirely in violation of the whole concept of policing.
A man comes in as sheriff and they're going to say he didn't earn that right. If he starts off as a humble hall monitor in school, that's when they know he's the right man for the job, and there will be no crime in my town.
Now listen, Sheriff Williams.
Ever.
I don't mean any trouble. I'm just trying to get to the bar for the whole entertainment thing.
Bar? Is there prohibition yet?
No, it doesn't come for...
All right, you're fine.
No,
Forget I said anything.
do I get a pass just for today?
Here's your hall pass. You may go to the tavern.
Yeah, let's go with tavern.
Saloon! Go to the saloon. In fact, I'll come with you.
Right, say, darling, what do you think of our new home?
Oh, well, it ain't so much. Baron,
Yes, well, it isn't so much, but
we'll
you
have to
always
make
wanted
do.
me to buy somewhere, didn't you? So we bought this.
Well, I did.
Bought this little town.
I tried to have low expectations, Baron,
Yeah.
so that I wouldn't live in a constant state of perpetual disappointment. I'm disappointed in myself on that.
Come on, darling. I bought you a whole town.
You're always trying to make the bright side of things. The truth is, this town, Little Stirrup, you couldn't have even pushed the boat out to Big Stirrup.
It's not usual for a British aristocrat to come and buy a town, let alone a big town. So a small town is already quite a good effort, isn't it, darling?
Well, now as you point out the past, I'm aware that you plucked me from my town in Dallas and brought me here.
I didn't pluck you. I wooed you. Wooing is different from plucking.
Oh. Well, I felt quite plucked, sweetheart. Is that how you do it in England?
What? I didn't make you come in, I.
Well, I had no choice after Daddy booted me out.
Well, did all those roses, all those nights?
Yeah, all that,
Riverboats mean
all
nothing?
that rubbish, yeah.
I mean, at the altar you didn't say any of this. When I said I bought a town, you didn't say any of this. And now...
Well, no, I thought it would be a bigger town with more horses and a population with more talent, to be honest. This little hoo-ha you got tonight is a variety show?
There are several people here. Several horses.
Several horses. Well, are they going to entertain me some? Because I'm pretty bored, Baron. Been pretty bored for years.
What do you want from me, darling? We've got to make this work somehow.
Why?
What's the matter with attitudes?
Oh, hello, Beauregard.
Well, I finally escaped the eyes of that sheriff, so...
It's nice of you to join me in the hall.
well, I got my pass. So.
Oh, very good. That's nice. Not very much to do in the hall, so I suppose we should just chat.
How have you been? You've
Fair
been
enough.
you've been out of town recently. What were you up to?
Oh, that little thing. I was buying books from Big Stirrup.
You can read? That's something that they haven't even got in our school here system here. I mean, I can read hall pass, but that's pretty much the...
Oh, that's very interesting. I actually thought by the time of the 1920s that the west of the United States was pretty well industrialized.
Well,
With quite a high level of
Big
literacy.
Stirrup is. Little Stirrup
Stirrup
doesn't
is-
have any of these newfangled...
Newfangled reading. Oh,
Yeah. We do the best we can with what little we have. And, you know, we're happy folk.
right.
I mean, most of them are on holiday right now.
Yes, they're almost everybody apart from the five of us, indeed, yes.
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 Yes,
6.
indeed. Yes. The lack of reading does somewhat explain the system of semaphore that you use to communicate your needs at distance.
Oh yeah, yes, indeed. It comes very, very handy. You know, if I need to call on my friend on the other side of the street, would you like to go for a drink? It's a mere 5 minutes of activity doing all this kind of business, and I always keep my flags with me where the guns used to be. You know.
Yes, things have got so much better since we swapped out our guns for all the flags.
That makes communication much more efficient.
Yes, it makes shooting people harder, but then again, that's generally frowned upon. The
Well,
sheriff doesn't like
it is one of those cases where I would not be objecting if someone were to arrest me for shooting a gun, because that's a bad thing to do. But
Yes.
waving some flags to communicate some basic needs.
Yeah.
No one's going to have any objection to that kind of nonsense.
Yes, anyway, I hear that you've got quite a talent laid out for the variety show later on, which I now come to realise will be quite a sparsely attended event, given that there are only 5 people in the town.
Well, absolutely. Well, I do a little spot of flag showing.
Oh, that's very good. That's
And,
very impressive.
I mean, it both entertains and communicates the emptiness of my soul.
It's slightly sad in conclusion than I was expecting from that performance, but that's very. It's both entertaining and profound.
One day, a talent scout's going to spot my little abilities, and I'm going to have a future. Finally escape this little town, this little stirrup that's been crushing my dreams since I was a child, and I'm going to see the big bad world out there. One day.
I look forward to that day as well, Beauregard.
Well, that's why tonight, my premier chance to show off my talents to the small audience that we do have assembled, and
I understand. Yes.
get a little bit of feedback from them and how I can make it to the big time.
Oh, why, you must be the new owners around here, my little stirrup. Sheriff Williams. It's a pleasure to
Oh,
meet you.
Sheriff Williams.
Sheriff Williams. Yes, I didn't catch your name.
Ada Noddle.
Right, yeah, it was
Ada,
on.
first name Noddle.
Yeah, the Noddles
Second.
have bought the town.
Yeah.
I did have to refute your husband's request to rename the town Little Noddle.
Huh.
Didn't like that
Can
very
we
much.
name it Bed Noddle?
Well, no, Big Noddle's down the road.
Oh, is it?
And then you got Big Stirrup and then Little Stirrup,
Little
which is where we
Stirrup.
are now. It's a lovely,
Okay.
quaint little town. You're going to love it here. Very talented people, you know, all 4 of us. 6 now that you're here.
Well,
And crime, way down since they took away everyone's guns and put them here in my safe.
oh, and where you have the key to the safe?
Oh, it's a combination safe.
Oh, it's a combination safe.
I'm not trying to leave a giant key hanging around.
No, that would be stupid. Clearly, you are a man.
I'm a very intelligent
Oh,
man.
intelligent. So I heard you can read?
Yeah, CBC words mainly, but a little bit.
Oh, that's very good.
It's a joke for the teachers in the audience.
My husband can read, you know.
Well, I mean,
One
such
of
a
the-
rich British aristocrat. I hear all of them are reading down there in that industrial revolutionized Britain.
Yes.
And all the
Yes.
children are also in chimneys and factories dying. The word!
You gotta start somewhere. Having you educate from the top down. That's what my daddy said.
What would that look like?
Like,
The elderly
the
go
elderly
to school.
go to school. Yeah,
and then
they
they-
learn the stuff.
And then they die.
They teach it to the younger generation before they die. It's all about the timing.
So when do you go to school? How old are you when you...
Well, you gotta gauge it quite carefully, but roughly about 10 years before you pop your clogs is the best time.
So 1920, so when you're about 45 years old, you start going to school.
That's right. I'm looking forward to going soon.
You read, ma'am?
Well, some of the words, yes.
Right, but your husband reads all the words. So when I start passing
Exactly.
these town accounts, they don't look after themselves. And I've been trying to do it myself, but I can only read words that are 3 letters long, as earlier established. So I'm going to have to pass them on to Mr. Noddle.
Well, he'll be able to do that. Honestly, it's like the only reason that I married him.
Because he can read
Because he
financial
can read
accounts.
financial accounts. Well,
Okay.
and the other
'Cause
words.
We've got the sheriff's office, we've got the tavern, and that's it.
Oh, so we got lots of room to expand. He's a good storyteller, is my
So
husband.
if you look at this map here, Little Stirrup is
Yeah.
this big, and we're not allowed to expand any further because then we'd be in Big Stirrup, which is this big.
But
and
what
if
if
you go
we
this
got
way,
as big as
Big Noddle.
if we got bigger?
In which direction? Because the 2 towns
Well,
like
we
sort of
could
squishing
like
us.
take over some of that town, and then we'd be bigger, so we could be bigger still.
You want to send Beauregard waving these flags into another town?
Why the hell not?
He'll get shot,
This town needs some. Well,
and then we'll have
one
5
in, one
people.
out. But then if the town.
Another gin, please.
Sure. You're the new owner.
Yes, I'm just trying to go through these accounts.
I guess you don't really know how it works around here. Ready?
What are you doing? Oh my God, stop it. You're smashing all the glasses.
This is how we do things. Okay. Haven't thrown that one yet.
Right?
I'll give you a slow tap, like curling.
That was slower, but I can't just stop doing it at all. You want me to catch it?
Yeah.
Right. Well, okay, well.
I think I'm going to have one for myself after that.
How much do I owe you now? It's been about, was that about 5?
Yeah, 5, give or take 10.
Definitely wasn't 15.
But I mean, you own the entire town, including my bar, so I guess
Oh, really?
you don't really have to pay.
Oh, yes, you're quite right, yeah. That's a good system, isn't it? I'll have another one then, please.
What made you decide Little Stirrup?
Yeah. Well, the thing is, you see, I was passing through Dallas earlier on a grand tour. My name is Baron Noddle, by the way. It's the way I should. There you are, yes. Eleanor, lovely, yes. Yes, I always thought that at some point on graduating, by which I mean my father dying, that's how one graduates the Baron, I should do a little tour of the world, and I passed through Dallas and met a darling lady there, and I'm married, it's all very romantic, and then the day after she said that all she'd ever really wanted was to own a town. Well, I was very pleased to oblige, and so here we are.
But why Little Stirrup? It's not really a town most people go to. See, I came here because it was really inclusive and wholesome as a place. It's so inclusive that there's only 4 people. But I wouldn't have thought it was kind of aristocracy's vibe.
Yes, well, you see, normally we don't go for buying towns, and it turns out it's not trivial on the finances. Buying a town, not easy on the old wallet, you know.
So a town with 2 buildings was the...
Yes, sort of starter town, shall we say. Yes. Hopefully we can make a big success of this and work up the ladder.
You want to buy out Big Noddle?
Well, that would be the dream. What a coincidence that we're so close to a town with the same name as me. Yes, but I fear it'll be difficult. It's going to be hard to turn a lot of profit, I think, from this town.
Our town is very talented, you know. I reckon this show tonight could make or break. We could bring in a lot of people.
Yes, I heard there's a show tonight, is that right?
Mm-hmm.
Talent show?
Yeah, you're going to have to be in it.
Oh, ma'am, sorry, I didn't mean to disturb you. I was just getting some final practice in advance of the talent show tonight.
Oh, that's no disturbance, sir. What? I mean, is that flame throwing you're doing?
No, it's a little bit of flag juggling.
Oh, no, flat. Well, do go on.
There we go.
A man of talent.
You know, I can see, if you don't mind me saying, you're a lady of some means.
Well,
I don't suppose you know of any, talent scouts I could tout my skills in front of, maybe?
well, you're obviously taking part in this show tonight.
Well, yeah, sure. I can show you what I can do, and maybe if you've got some
I have
connections.
some contacts I can write home.
Oh, can you? That's something that's
Yes,
far distant from any of the skills around this town.
You're a man with big ambitions. Tell me your name.
My name is Beauregard.
Beauregard.
Beauregard, yeah.
Delight to meet you, Beauregard.
What may your name be?
My name is Ada Noddle.
Ada Noddle.
Ada Noddle. Don't worry about my surname, though. These things come and go.
You're the Noddle. Only one does what's best. But,
I can see you're a man who does do his best.
You're one of the Noddles that just bought this little town, yeah?
Well, I did, yes. As I said, I have some influence on a number of things.
Well, maybe if you can shine light's fade over the little life of Beauregard.
Oh, don't
and
do
Little
yourself
Novel.
down,
And then-
Beauregard. Let your ambition shine.
I will.
You grab those flags.
I'm
You make your messages.
I'm gonna
You
sh-
tell the world how you feel.
going to show this town just what Beauregard can do.
Lord Snowden, allow me to congratulate you on your winning of the talent show. We all
Yes, that's quite unexpected.
we all enjoyed the juggling of old Beauregard, but in the end, being able to write an actual sentence was the most incredible thing anyone in this town has ever done.
I was just sitting watching, doing my letters, and it's very glad.
Yes, you were on it the whole time.
Right?
Yes. I believe.
Participating.
Yes, yeah, poor old Bowie. Well, he'll take some consoling, but I'm sure in time he'll get over his crust dreams.
Crust dreams?
Yes, sorry, he dreams of toast, but we don't have any toasters. So, yes. Anyway, I also wanted to say it's very nice to see you in this town. This time, yes, it's nice to see you again after all these years.
Yes, it's a funny coincidence, isn't it, to find you?
I know, yes, I know.
I never expected to see you here. Our lives should cross once again.
Indeed. Well, we were obviously good friends during the war. We weren't meant to have been good friends.
I'd say it's fairly strange during the war. It was easier beforehand at university.
Yes, no, that was that. Yeah.
Flashback to that.
Oh, that's a good joke. It's a very good joke.
Yes. Oh, well, should we go to the next lecture?
Flash forward to the war.
How's it going?
Bang! Sorry!
Bang!
Obliged to shoot, you know. Obliged to shoot, but...
No, I understand. I quite understand.
Aiming for this, rather. Yes.
Flash to the present day.
Yes. It's lucky we lost both such bad shots.
Bad, awful shot. Remember, I was the worst sniper in the German army.
Oh,
That
yes.
takes some doing.
It's unfortunate that we were posted in opposite buildings, both as snipers.
Yes.
Knowing each other's locations like that. That was awkward. That was quite awkward.
That was very awkward.
Goodness me. Yes.
Yes.
Please, we got through that.
Yes, yeah, it was.
I must say, I would still feel the pain in my arms sometimes.
I
Hit me with that one bullet.
No, it was a pure accident, I can assure you. I was just cleaning the gun at the time. And it just went off, and you were just in the wrong building at the wrong time.
Yes.
I sometimes do feel a similar pain in my right calf.
Oh yes, well yes, I had to do that. Otherwise, I've been fired. You have to sort of show some basic competence. Otherwise, they fire you from the army.
And that would have been bad.
In the First World War, in the Great War, that would have been probably awful.
Yeah.
Yes.
Anyway,
no hard
yes.
feelings. No
No,
hard
it's
feelings. Yes, and now you're here
Yes.
in little stirrup.
Yes. Well, I just wanted to find somewhere nice and inclusive, and we're really
choice in regard to the Wild West.
What do you say? But we're a surprisingly multicultural Wild West town.
Yes. I noticed that. Yes.
Yes. And now you're my new patron, I suppose, which is interesting. Change of pace.
Yes. What exactly am I patroning you in?
I don't know, but one day I will find whatever that talent is that I have.
You've been exploring different talents, have you?
Yes.
Painting?
I did, yes.
I see.
Yes.
Good decision to move on, I think.
Yeah, indeed. And then there was my attempt at embroidery.
Got it again? Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
It was meant to be a cat.
A what?
A cat.
A what?
Cats, they're small, they purr, they have whiskers.
Ah, cat.
Yes.
Cat.
Yes.
Yes, good. Put it away.
Okay.
Yes. And what's taking your fancy at the moment?
Well, I thought I would learn to play the fiddle.
Yes, we saw that at the talent show.
Yes.
Yeah. So what's next?
Have one whiskey, please.
Coming right up.
Got a glass down there. Yeah, I know this is awkward, but now that we got those new town owners in and I'm relieved from my financial responsibilities, maybe we could pick up where we left off before I have to take over.
Yeah, it was rather
Rude of me to leave you suddenly to take over all the financial responsibilities of a small town, I agree.
a small town where I still lived.
It was a tough job for one man, looking after 2 buildings.
And
Arresting that one guy again and again and again. Locking him up, letting him out. Locking him up, letting him out. It's tough. But now I've only got to do one of those things. I just have to keep arresting Bo. The finance is no longer my problem.
yeah, well, whilst I had a great time with you,
Oh. This is not going how Sheriff William thought would. Maybe another whiskey.
I did some soul searching
Oh.
whilst we were, on that break, and I realised I probably don't want to be with a man who breaks up with me to then rule over all of my finances and just arrest the only nice guy in town.
When you say, I wasn't ruling over your finances, I was making sure that we didn't end up in a pit like Little Noodle did. Why do you think it doesn't exist anymore?
I've only got one drinks cabinet for this entire bar.
For 4 people!
It was my dream to be like a great cocktail person, but
I had to arrest Bo that one time. He looked at my horse the wrong way. Nessie doesn't like that. And there's only 4 horses. I couldn't have her running away all scared. I've had to keep getting more and more horses. Oh!
I'm sorry, this is what I do.
No, I know when you're stressed, you bartend. I understand, and I always helped you. You'd serve up drinks, and I'll keep drinking them. Until you weren't stressed anymore. One more? Oh, no. I'll get it.
Yes, everything was going just swell in the small town of Wiltshire. Then, ladies and gentlemen, unfortunately, there was a murder. No one saw it coming. It was completely unexpected. Yes, one of our fine cast was murdered, and gosh, for the life of me, I just cannot remember who it was. It has completely escaped my mind, so I'm going to ask you for a little bit of help, ladies and gentlemen. It could have been any of them. It could have been Sheriff Williams, with old flames in town and having randomly arresting one particular guy over and over again. He could have been murdered. It could have been Eleanor, the bar owner. All manner of things happened at that bar. Maybe someone decided to try and take the only valuable establishment from her. Maybe it was Gunther and his mysterious past from back in Bavaria. Why is he a tourist in a town with only 4 people? Perhaps it was Beauregard. Oh, sorry. Didn't see that. Perhaps it was Ada Noddle with her infuriatingly difficult to pronounce name. And we decided we just didn't want to say it anymore, so we murdered her. Maybe it was all of her dealings with her husband, and all of her perhaps future dealings with Beauregard. Maybe Beauregard was murdered. He's been under arrest many times. Maybe he got himself into a scrap, reached for his gun, draw a flag, and that was the end of it. Or maybe it was in fact Baron Noddle, the owner of the town, the man with the most to lose. It could have been any of them, ladies and gentlemen, but it is up to you to decide. So, by round of applause, please tell me, was it Sheriff Williams who was murdered? I think you're safe. Was it Eleanor who was murdered? A small contingent of Eleanor. Was it Gunther who was murdered? Was it Ada Noddle who was murdered? Was it Beauregard who was murdered? No, it was Beauregard. Was it, in fact, Baron Noddle who was murdered? I think it's a clap off, ladies and gentlemen. Could you tell me, just once again, half and half, was it Gunther who was murdered? Or was it Baron Noddle who was murdered? gentlemen, that's right. It was Baron Noddle who was murdered.
Oh my God! He's dead! Somebody call a different detective! I don't solve actual crimes!
Oh, it was at that moment that I arrived into the story. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, I was riding through the desert on a horse with no name. I heard the screaming in a nearby town sandwiched between two much larger towns. And being that I've been recently struck off from the Metropolitan Police for all of my drinking and forgetfulness, I decided, why not try and redeem myself with one last case? So I strode into town, leaving my horse in the desert to die, and sought out the culprit.
Well, thank you so much for coming, sir.
Ah, you must be the sheriff, I can tell by your ridiculous hat.
And my giant star badge. See, we haven't had murder in this town for a long time since I took everyone's guns away, so,
That's smart.
Right? Yeah, completely nipped crime in the bud.
That's very good.
You can't hold up a bank because, one, we don't have one, and two, no guns.
That's pretty... I've already said multiple times. Yeah. Very good idea.
I like being told that.
Congratulations.
But it did mean that I have
lost
all my experience in crime solving.
All of your expertise is in prevention. My expertise is in the bit after that.
Well, thank God we've got you here. You got any questions about the other people around this town? I'm sure I can fill you in.
Well, sure. I imagine a town like this must be, 100-200 individuals. Could you tell me how many?
Yeah, 1 or 2 individuals, yeah. I think latest head count, if you include me, 5.
And then the murder victim?
6.
Okay. Goodness me, yes, this is going to be easier than I thought.
No one could have left due to that huge sandstorm that was outside around the time of the murder.
Right, that's why I was so lost.
And of course, I own the only 4 house horses in town, so no one's leaving.
Right.
Well, except me, but
Are
I'm
you
here.
a small dictator of some kind?
No.
You're a very friendly dictator.
The last town owner left, he up and left. And I just sort of took over whilst we were looking to sell it on to someone else.
Really?
Yeah.
That's very interesting. Unexplained leaving and you suddenly come into a large amount of power.
And yet no money, which would be a primary motive.
Oh, well, ownership is...
It actually ruined my life. I broke up with my girlfriend. She won't take me
I
back.
think she broke up with you, actually.
No, sir, initially. Can't talk too much paperwork. Sheriff's office, yep. Bar, yep. Oh, God, after that, I'm so tired. I'm going to bed.
Oh, what?
Flash forward.
So, yeah, if you need to know anything about individuals, I know everyone pretty well. Other than the victim's wife, she only moved in yesterday, so I don't know much about her at all.
Right. Well, needless to say, don't leave town. I've clamped all of your horses.
I live here, I won't.
It's just so dreadfully sad,
No.
He's such a good man. I'm sorry, we were very close.
Well, I was a little bit close to him, too.
Well, yes, I'm sure. I'm sure, but we shot at each other in the war. That's the kind of thing that brings
We
men
shot
together.
at each other in the bedroom.
Flashback!
Darling, are you sure this is what you want?
Well, we're a very inclusive town.
Yes. One of the reasons that he wanted us to come here. He thought that we would be embraced, curious as we are in our ways.
Oh, you're not curious. You seem like a very lovely person.
Oh, that's so kind. You always said you were a kind man.
You said it like you were going to say something else, but then you just said kind again.
I was distracted by the girth of your thighs. If you make me say it. My husband is dead. Lord Snotney.
Well, I'm sure you must be taking his loss very, very hard.
Well, of course. Where's the money going to come from now?
Where did the money come from in the first place, by the way? he was always very secretive about his family finances.
Well, that's the British aristocracy for you, ain't it?
Yeah.
I didn't
I think
marry into them, so I'm
People
not entirely
are.
sure.
Well, I believe how it works is people die, and that means you get money.
Oh, like with education.
Yes. It goes down generations. Yes. That's how I understand it. But I'm not so good with the books. That was his domain.
Oh gosh.
So who's going to do it
Interesting.
now?
Well, I just always thought it was strange because the asking price of this town was $5. So it seems strange that this was the most a baron could put out to him. It was very explicitly advertised in Hart as a fixer-upper.
He told me this town was the best money could buy.
Did he say the best money could buy or the best his money could buy?
That small detail makes quite a big difference.
Well, Eleanor, if you don't mind, this day has been rather more stressful than I cared to. Oh, there we go. Eleanor, how do you deal with bitter disappointment?
Drink.
I mean, always does it, but I've always admired the way you can make any situation into a positive one, and I could use some of that right now.
Yeah, well,
Not-
you know.
Not only was the murder, but I lost the talent competition.
Your juggling is mighty impressive, but
Oh, thanks, Eleanor. That means something. That's,
his letters, his calligraphy was beautiful, so.
I mean, using letters and words and everything, I feel that that's kind of cheating. I mean, it's not exactly a talent, it's just an opportunity that was denied us in this little town. I'm sure there's some rules in the competition rules. And... Oh, damn it, why did that baron have to beat me?
But you've got something that he'll never have.
Oh, what's that, Eleanor?
You're alive?
Like I always say, you always find the positive in any situation.
And you've got your flags. Like, it's a very impressive skill.
Well, thank you, Eleanor. I'm glad someone thinks so.
And you're a nice man, which I didn't really know him very well. I had never met him in a past life. And,
A past life?
the
Have you
writer-
met him in this life, perhaps?
Briefly, yeah.
Oh, tell me about that.
Flashback!
Hello. We've already seen this.
And that was like when he was prospecting to buy the place, and on one visit to this saloon, and he said, yeah, I'm going to put my money on the line because this is the kind of saloon I want to own.
Yeah, so yeah, that was the only time I met him. I never met him before when I was not from here, obviously, by my voice you can tell. Yeah, never met him, no shady backstory. So we can move on. But anyway, my point is,
Yeah, what is it, Eleanor?
you're a really nice guy. And
Well, thank you, Eleanor. You're a really nice bartender.
Yes, thank you for making the time to speak with me, Gunther.
That's all right. Sorry, I was just somebody's clamped my horse.
Ah, yes, security, you know, sorry about that.
Yeah.
Just standard protocol.
No, I understand.
Okay.
Hang in there, Nelly. Yes. Anyway, so you are asking. I was, obviously at the time, after the talent show, which was hosted in the sheriff's office.
Hang on, so there's a bar and a sheriff's office, and you chose to host the talent competition in the sheriff's office?
Yes, because we would go back to the bar afterwards for a drink, and it felt appropriate to separate the hard business of the talent competition with the conviviality of the
So people took it very
post-show
seriously
drinking.
then?
Oh yes.
Serious enough to potentially cause motive for murder?
No, that would have seemed like a drastic overreaction.
Alright. So you were saying, that's where you were at the time, and then obviously shortly after that he was bludgeoned to death with a poisoned bottle of alcohol.
Yes. We always keep poison bottles of alcohol around.
Oh, it's a Wild West town, you've got to have at least one.
Yes, it's because of all the coyotes, of course.
Yes, you seduce them in, Bring them in, ask them how their day was, pour them a glass of bourbon and watch them easily just sip themselves to death. A noble beast, the coyote. Noble beast.
Anyway, no,
Sorry,
I was,
yes.
So he was murdered, of course, in a different place to where I was.
Yes, in the hallway, I believe,
Yes.
between the two buildings.
Yeah, indeed. And I was in the other one of the two
One
buildings.
of the two buildings.
Yes.
This is going to get old. There are 3 locations where anyone could have been, and I'm going to have to speak to everyone.
Yes. Yes. Well, I was in the bar at the time. Thanks.
Right. Well, very interesting. Gunther, do you mind me asking?
Yeah.
Why are you a tourist in a town with nothing here?
Well, I just thought I would broaden my horizons. I wanted to see some of the world.
And you didn't fancy, say, Big Novel or Big Stirrup?
I tried Big Stirrup and I tried Big Novel, but they just didn't have that kind of je ne sais quoi that I was looking for.
All right. Is that je ne sais quoi not being recognised at all?
No.
Are you sure? Because,
Yes.
I've heard a couple of stories, about a famous Bavarian who's gone missing from the German political elite recently. Has made his way into the world. Well, no one knows where he's gone. But
Right.
he seemed to be making some pretty strong politics in
Well,
Germany in the 1920s.
If
He wanted to bring in a low emissions zone. Caused quite a stir. And so he fled, and no one knows where he's gone.
Look, I do not know who this man with very sensible politics that you're talking about could possibly be. But I assure you it is not I.
Okay.
Even though the arguments about taxing the emission of noxious fumes into our atmosphere are all very sensible. And in many ways, road users, drivers are subsidized
Yes,
to
and
use
drivers,
the roads.
of course.
And drivers are subsidized to use the roads through all of the...
Look, I don't want to
public
get into
roads.
this with you.
No, it's okay. Probably we should avoid it, actually. Now that I'm thinking about it.
Look, all I know is that you and the deceased were old friends. And there was a report, actually, that out in the street there was a screaming argument along the lines of this exact conversation going on. Perhaps you two disagreed. Perhaps it all got out of hand.
No, not at all. Not at all.
Really? So the reports of this screaming argument are completely false?
Well, we might have had a little tiff.
Flashback.
I can't believe you. How could you ever have stood for a low emission zone?
Look, I just think it was the right thing to do.
Fast forward.
The honest man in his automobile, riding along.
Fast forward.
I'm sorry.
Well, I tell you not to leave town, but I've clamped your horse.
Yes. Well, you clamped my horse?
Yes.
Oh, could you unclamp it, please? It's not good for their hooves.
It's perfectly humane. It's
No.
it's like, the inside's like an Ugg boot.
You know a lot about clamping horses.
It's a personal passion.
Ah, Ada, did you bring the town ledgers?
I did.
I assume I'm taking back over.
Yes.
Oh.
How'd you feel about that?
Hello, darkness, my old friend.
Oh.
I hate it.
I didn't think you'd enjoy it.
I
so
don't. I
much.
absolutely hated running the entire town and having jurisdiction over everybody. Hated it, I say.
Well, where is the money?
Well, we've got, you see, in these positive accounts, we got $5 that your husband paid in
What?
to buy the town.
Oh my God.
So plus 5.
What about the revenue from the talent show?
What do you mean revenue? We all just sat in my office and...
It wasn't ticketed?
Did you buy a ticket?
Well, no.
Well, then no, it wasn't ticketed.
Wasted opportunity. It's an annual event.
Yeah, and we're a town that looks after each other. We're inclusive here. You know? No one buys any of the alcohol, we just get given it. No one buys any of the food, we just get given it. You know?
I married the biggest fool on God's earth.
Well, did you marry the biggest genius on God's earth, fool? You get vegetables and milk delivered to your door once a week.
That ain't gonna buy me no big noodle.
No, but it'll keep you fed, watered, and alive.
What's the point of being alive in this dipshit town?
Well, you get everything for free. There's no crime. We all really like each other.
Okay.
Before you and your husband arrived in this town, we haven't had a single crime other than Beauregard staring at my horse for more than 2 years.
He stared at your horse?
Yeah, but it's just a thing we have going on where I arrest him, he lives in my office for a couple of days. He hasn't actually got anywhere else to go, so we just make a big charade of it. He's too embarrassed to admit that he has nowhere to go, so it's like, you're under arrest, Beauregard. Oh, not again, detective, how dare you? And then I don't even lock the door, we just sit and
Well, aren't you just dandy?
play poker and that game where you get a knife and you go...
Well, that's kind of cute.
Yeah, but no one knows that.
But that's okay, I know that now.
And we're all very nice to each other. Everyone actually knows it, we just don't tell Beauregard.
Stop shouting at me about how nice y'all are!
I'm sorry, I've not actually been this angry since, like, 2 years before you guys arrived. And you arrived, and now I'm really furious all the time, and I don't like it, Ada Noodle. In fact, I don't like you, Ada Noodle, and now that I've got the town back, I think you should leave. Go get yourself a big noodle if you think you can, now that you've not got your husband paying your way. See how long you last outside of Dallas, miss.
You're gonna run me out of town?
Yeah.
My husband just died.
You don't seem to care. It's really quite suspicious how little you care.
Gin on the rocks, if you've got one, please.
Yeah. I'm running a bit low.
That's cool. That's very good.
If there's one thing we can do in here, it's slide things.
Yeah. I like how you've drawn little arrows like a bowling alley all the way down the bar.
Yeah, we used to have a little brush, but the handle broke.
Oh. So you put the bumpers down. So, Eleanor, owner of the bar.
Yeah.
Well, it's been a difficult couple of days for you. New owners of the town, your bar changing hands to them, then him dying, now the bar's future all uncertain. Gosh. Golly gosh. Did you murder him?
Why would I do that?
Yeah, it doesn't really make sense. I was hoping you'd just sort of explain it to me.
You haven't been a detective for long, have you? That's not how it works.
34 years. It's worth giving it a go. Yeah, well, none of it seems to make sense. Especially you. You don't make sense. You're a British person in a small town, and you're not travelling through, and no one seems to know your second name, or why you're here, or where you came from, or where you're going to go. Someone should write a song about that.
My last name is Novel.
No.
Gosh, I was going to say Windsor. I thought you might have been royalty. But Noddle, that's good. Which Noddle, though? Aristocratic Noddle or Big Noddle?
One and the same. Indeed. My mother, she was the owner of Big Noddle.
Oh my
and
goodness.
she was the sister.
Of Miriam Noddle, heiress to the Noddle fortune and
Mother of...
mother of, goodness me, model of our now Baron Noddle. Oh my God, it all falls into place. Well, what are you doing here then? Shouldn't you be in Big Noddle, living it up, owning a much larger and more well-attended bar?
Well, yeah, but I didn't want to always be in my mum's shadow, so I thought, you know what, I'll make it by myself. I'll have my bar by myself and...
Live in a small communist enclave.
Plus, I met a guy who I thought was nice, so I came here.
Oh, yes, no.
And then it turns out he's a mini dictator, so what can you do?
God, that's always the way with many communist enclaves. Always the way, isn't it? Goodness me. So, come to think of it then, Baron Noddle turning up throws a real spanner in your entire life plan. He would have put it together sooner or later. He would have figured it out. He would have figured out that, in fact, You have more of a claim to this place than he's apparently bankrupted himself with his last $5. Well, you know, the dollars were worth a lot more back then. You could have turned his whole life upside down, and he would have turned your life upside down. That seems an awful lot like you killed him. Oh, yes, thank you very much, ladies and gentlemen, for joining me here in the hallway. I didn't fancy the sheriff's office, and I didn't fancy the bar. The hallway seemed like a better call. So yes, please pull up a chair. I did bring in some of the chairs from the sheriff's office.
Oh, that's mighty kind of you. Nicely furnished hallway you got here.
It's not mine, it's yours.
Technically, it's mine.
Just offer to a chair.
You're the tourist.
Look, I'm going to put it straight to you all. One of you is a murderer.
Oh, surely that cannot be true.
No, that must be true. We've been stabbed for a long time.
I just simply do not believe it.
All the horses have been mercilessly clamped for hours now. Look at all their guns. The horses had guns too?
Yeah, everyone had guns.
Oh, God.
It's amazing what a horse can do with a flag.
Goodness me. Well, yes, since that sandstorm rolled through, it could only have been one of you. So, is any of you going to confess to it right now? Just make this whole lot a lot easier on me. That'd be really handy. Nope?
Yes, no.
Damn it, I thought I would get at least one of you.
You know, Bo, if you confess, you'll have a room for life.
Yes?
Well, why would I do that if I didn't do the thing? I've got my name's the only thing I got. I'm not going to throw that away.
Yeah, fair enough.
You can stay with me.
Oh, that's mighty kind of you.
Yes.
Thank
Bo.
you, Eleanor.
Oh,
Everyone's favourite Bo.
this is a nice town after all.
A nice man, nice town. Completely, just no real motive, apart from the fact that he was trying to get away with the Baron's wife. We all saw it, the spark between them. His rabid fantasy of being a flag juggler off on the big stage. He saw his ticket out of here, and maybe the Baron was confronted. Maybe that they had an argument. Maybe it all got out of hand, and he grabbed the coyote poison and bludgeoned him to death with it.
Well, surely no one can believe such a thing of me.
I'm
The perfect cover story. Being nice your entire life. Just to commit one murder. That's how I'd do it. But of course, there are other culprits in this room potentially as well. The wife. Conned into a small communist enclave. What do you have to say for yourself?
So many of my decisions in my life haven't been mine. I've been led by the nose like an horse, thither and hither.
So you took motive into your hand
Well, no.
and the power, and you exercised that power.
No, never.
I remain unconvinced.
Someone else would have had to told me to do that because I ain't used to making my own decisions.
That's compelling. But of course, the old family connections could always come into the play. Old uni friends, old friends from the family. Anyone could have done it. Even the sheriff, the man who stood the most to gain from his death.
I hated those ledgers, you know I did.
Yes, but you loved building a little friendship through this weird charade.
Just love communism.
Yeah, really good, isn't it? Could drive a man to murder. Not that that's ever happened before. Ladies and gentlemen, it's completely escaped my mind which one of our characters, in fact, was the murderer. So I'm going to need your help to find out which one of them it was. So please, by round of applause, ladies and gentlemen, could you help me? Was it Sheriff Williams who was the murderer? Oh, nice communist round of applause. Was it Gunto who was the murderer? Okay. Was it Eleanor Noddle who was the murderer? Was it Ada Noddle who was the murderer? Or was it Beauregard who was the murderer. Goes all round. I know we're doing communism at the moment. We need to all take strong stances and vote for something. So one more time, I think we had a pretty strong one. Was it Gunther who was the murderer? Or was it Ada who was the murderer? Oh my God, ladies and gentlemen, it's all come flying back into my memory. That's right, ladies and gentlemen, it was Gunther who was the murderer. And I think it went a little something like this.
A simple proposal. I simply want to tax your horse.
Stop there, wait a minute then. I was going to buy a car one day, and that's even worse in your view.
But I'm not saying it's such an irritating argument. I'm not saying you're not going to be allowed to drive your car or take your horse anywhere. I'm just asking you to pay a small amount for the upkeep of the public highway. You know what?
You have gone too far. I shall reveal you to the German people.
No, I can't allow this to happen.
Yes, I'll write the
I might-
letter now.
I
Write
might-
the letter.
I
Dear
might also-
Germans.
Stop it!
But that's poison. Don't hit me with that.
I will hit you with it!
Stop it! Stop! That really hurts.
I'm going to hit you more in the middle of the stage. Yes, there we go. That's right. That's right, I did it. And I'd do it again. He might have been an old friend of mine, but I have principles, you know. And I had an opportunity to demonstrate them, and he took all of that away from me. He took all of it away. And you know, I might not have had the talent for anything else, but I have a talent for public policy, damn it. And this would have been a fine policy, my friend. It would have been a fine policy.
Good God! You monster!
If I only plunged into man's death in day with congestion charging, I don't think that's the wrong number.
I'm afraid if you can't see it now, then you'll never see it. You're beyond repair. Please, take him away.
My
No.
pleasure.
Good, we actually had a policeman there to take him away. It's quite handy. Technically, I had no jurisdiction. It was a long way away from the Metropolitan Police Service. Yes, ladies and gentlemen, I published my findings and my entire case in my latest book, A Murder Most Unexpected, which, honestly, the sales could be better. Well, all that was left to say for me is that if you're going to go to a small communist enclave, you better be ready to share what you find. Ladies and gentlemen, this was a murder most unexpected. We had a wonderful time playing for you. It was such a wonderful time. Thank you so much for coming. This was the last show of our 4-night run, so thank you for making it such a wonderful finale for us. And we've had such a wonderful time. Please, if you'd like to see more of our shows in the future, we usually try and do something around Christmas time, which is, you know, lots of Christmassy fun. You can find us at Cambridge Improv Factory on all of the social media and our website. So please do go and find that. That would be excellent. Give us a follow, give us a like, give us a subscribe, and you can find out future shows, which would be lovely. But all that is left to say is thank you so much for being a wonderful audience. Audience, singular. Thank you so much for being such a wonderful audience. Thank you to Alan for being our tech for this entire run. We have been playing the thing like that.